Last Looks crew, hey, how's your day going? Me? Well, we just finished our third week of shooting and we're about to kick into our fourth on a fun film here in LA titled Maxine. I think we've found our rhythm now, although we are doing a lot of splits and nights, so you know how that can go. I don't know about you, but I don't mind night shoots. But there's always such a funky feeling at the end of your day when you hear the birds chirping and everyone on the road is fresh-faced because they just had a wicked sleep. But you're at the end of your day, worked 15 hours, and feel like you're tripping. Is it just me? I doubt it. Anyway, I actually posted about it on my stories and got some great tips and tricks from some of you guys, like on cold nights, having rechargeable hand warmers and heated vests, tips like staying busy, using headlamps, exercise to help you sleep, take plenty of vitamin D or go in for a vitamin IV, earplugs, blackout curtains, eye masks, and then of course a great trick for how to handle night shoots that made me laugh out loud was simply don't do them. If only, I wish. Now tell me, did you ever watch The Wire? I know a lot of people loved it. I even overheard Christopher Nolan say he's a fan. So my guest on the show today was the makeup department head on The Wire and many other awesome projects. Her name is Debi Young. I'd been trying to pin Debi down for some time, but we all know how busy we get and how precious any spare time that we have can be, so I was beyond excited when we finally made a date to chat. I love Debi's positive outlook, her determination to share her knowledge and her belief that the best way to lead is with kindness. A few things our industry could do more of, I think. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, spread the word. Speaking of our industry, if you or someone you know has a brand that they would like our listeners to hear about, be sure to shoot me a message about becoming a Last Look sponsor. What does that mean? Well, you can get your brand mentioned on the podcast and introduce it to hairstylists and makeup artists that work in our industry internationally. Good idea, right? For more details, DM me on Instagram or email info@thelastlookspodcast.com. Easy. Okay, enough from me. Let's hear from Debi. On with the show.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Psst. Come in closer. Would you like to hear what Hollywood's best kept secret is? Want to know what many A-listers are using? Do you want your skin transformed to be red carpet ready? Abovo Skincare's enriched eye and delicate day creams will nourish, moisturize, soften, and heal your tired skin. The meaning of the name Abovo is the origin, the beginning, the start. Take your skin back to the beginning with these natural, eco-friendly, luscious products. Great for all skin types, under makeup, and also for midday touch-ups. A little goes a long way to luminous skin. And we haven't forgotten our FX friends. Abovo Skincare is incredibly soothing and healing after removing those prosthetics. Skin will be in great shape for your next day's application. Try this magical mix of essential oils and ethically sourced emu oil, and your skin will say thank you. Available at abovoskincare.com. That's ABOVO skincare.com. Or pop into LA's industry-focused beauty supply stores. And you too can enjoy Abovo Skincare's Star Treatment.
And now, our feature presentation.
Pictures up.
Last looks. Rolling.
And action.
Welcome to the Last Looks podcast, Debi.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for inviting me.
So happy you're here. Okay, so this is where our story begins. I want you to finish the sentence for me, okay?
And so?
Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Debi, and when she grew up, she wanted to be...
Well, let me just say this. I wanted to be a nurse or a doctor at first.
Nice. So caring for people. Did you know a nurse? Had you been around nurses and doctors?
My mother was in nursing, and she was a very caring person.
Yeah.
I cared a lot about people.
Mm-hmm.
And I found through the years that your makeup can still be your ministry. Mm-hmm. You can still nurse people through that. I was always interested in art
Yeah.
and makeup from a very young age, but I didn't know at that time that that's something you could grow up to be.
Right.
From a very early age, when I was about 5, I was always playing with the lipsticks and eyeliners and powders on my mother's vanity.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was a barber.
Oh, wow.
So I was, in his barber shop, I was always experimenting with the lotions and the potions and, and slathering them on anybody that I could. But again, I didn't know at that time that it could be a profession, but I always did what I was interested in.
That's good. I think too, being in the barbershop, having that experience and just seeing what a simple haircut can do for somebody as well and how that can make them feel.
Oh,
So
my goodness. It was just, and this is the other thing. My father, because my mother worked at a hospital, sometimes she had to work over the weekends. So my dad would bring us to the barbershop, as he babysat us. But there was a cinema around the corner from the barbershop. So we had the opportunity to watch many films,
awesome.
It was the best, and then of course I would come back and always found myself pumping up his chair and slathering creams and trying to slick somebody's hair this way or that way, to recreate what I thought I was recreating at the time.
You're like, this looks awesome. They're like, maybe not. I love it.
Yes.
That's so great to have just that access to a cinema at such a young age and so often.
My God.
That's so cool.
It was the best. And he would have the ushers watch us.
Yeah.
It was so wonderful. And then, we're not sitting in a barbershop all day.
Yeah.
And, he was all about experiences. And my parents paid very close attention to what we were interested in. And I just remember my father, when I was about 9, I would say 8 or 9, as we watched the film at home on television. And as the credits were rolling, he said to me, your name will be in credits just like that.
Wow.
And I was like, what's credits?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what credits were.
Yeah.
And then he explained to me these were like all the names of the people and the jobs that they performed on the film to make the film.
Yeah.
And of course, unknowingly to me at that time, my dad had planted a seed that didn't germinate and bloom until much later. Just crazy,
It's
but
so
they
cool.
paid attention.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you just I don't ever remember paying attention to credits either. I mean, I knew they were there, but I don't really ever remember reading them or knowing what they were there for at such a young age as well. It's just like, oh, the program's over now.
Yes, exactly.
That means it's over. That means it's finished.
But he paid attention to, they just gave us so many experiences.
Yeah.
And to me, and I was the same way with my children. I watched what they enjoyed and nurtured that, so.
Cool. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I live outside of Baltimore now in Owings Mills, Maryland, in the county outside. But this is my home.
So how, at what point going through schooling and everything like that, did you decide while you were at school that you were going to go into makeup, or did you try other stuff first, or?
Jamie, and let me just say, it evolved.
Yeah.
So my husband and I got married when we were teenagers. We were like 17. And every job that I had at that time was not related to makeup at all.
Yeah.
But I always found myself doing makeup on the side.
Yeah.
Because it was a hobby. It was something that I enjoyed. And I remember I was working at the Baltimore City Police Department as a 911 clerk.
Wow.
And I would be making up my coworkers on my breaks in the ladies' room. It was just crazy, but I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed color, but what I enjoyed the most was the way they got up out of the chair. They always felt better about themselves. And that was so exhilarating to me to know that I could speak to someone and do some things to their face, and they would get up with better self-esteem. So I think that attracted me in the beginning, that I could really just make people feel great about themselves. So that was my thing. And so in doing so, people come to you with different issues with their skin and what they thought was right or not right about them.
Yeah.
And I think this thing, it's just such a, to enhance somebody's natural beauty, because I would tell them all that they were beautiful. But the thing was, I decided to go to school full time to get my esthetician's license.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a licensed professional so I could make sure that I was giving them the correct information.
Nice. I got to say that 911 call center must have been the most glamorous in town.
Oh my God.
Most glamorous in the state. Probably in the country.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
It's always, And I remember even, what, like some of my colleagues will call me like nicknames like Hollywood or whatever, but I wasn't, it was just, I was just there, helping the world, answering those emergency calls,
Yeah.
but making sure that everybody looked cute while they were doing it.
I love it. It's a good balance actually, because you guys would have been getting some rough calls, so some difficult calls to handle, but you're like the fairy going around making sure everybody's got a bit of sparkle. I love it.
Right. Now, and then again, makeup was my hobby. I loved it. I loved what it did for people. But again, I never thought of it as a profession. So, but after I got my esthetician's license and makeup license, of course, I know, I can do facials, I can wax, I can do all of these things.
Yeah.
And I had a client who was a journalist for a Washington, D.C. newspaper. And she asked me, I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue at the time, and she asked me if I could do her makeup for a television show that she was guest hosting. And she said to me, she said, they can't pay you, but they will give you a screen credit. And so I agreed to doing that. And that was my introduction to television production.
Wow.
And when the host came back from his trip, he was on a convention somewhere, I think in Hawaii. He decided he wanted to keep me for his show. And so I continued to do that. And again, like I said, film wasn't my focus at the time, but it evolved from there. Word of mouth recommendations to do commercials and industrials and independent film projects. And it was through those experiences I learned about the union, and it's a bigger thing, into the film industry. And that was my introduction.
Wow. So when you're doing these jobs and kind of moving along, are you figuring out like, oh, hang on a minute, I need to like get a pretty decent kit together and all of that type of thing? Like did you have anybody kind of guiding you, or you're just working this all out?
No,
solo?
I was working it all out. I just, whatever the job required, is I would get it. I would just buy stuff, and again, this is before I knew, about kit rentals and all this, I just wanted the tools that I needed to do the job that was before me. And, so whatever it took to learn how to work with blood and, those type of things, it's not like you can walk up to the counter in a department store and do that.
Yeah.
So, I just start, just finding books and things to help guide me, along the way.
So what's the first job that you did that was like a actual, I guess, a series or a film?
My first job and my first big feature film was a superhero comedy called Meteor Man.
Okay.
With Robert Townsend. And it was, it was an all-star cast like James Earl Jones and, it was so many people in this film, but it was a comedy and it was done in Baltimore. So it was 6 days a week and all nights.
Oh.
And I was in heaven. At that time, I said, these days, that would have been deemed as not the best work environment. But for me, it was magical you
Yeah.
know, and my colleagues and hair and makeup from Baltimore, we were like, oh my God, sitting on a set all night laughing at
Mm,
this comedic film and
mm.
you know, and the stunts and it was the best. It was the best of time. So that was my first big feature film. And it was, you know, again, it was magical. You just had no idea. And I was still trying to see clients during the day in my studio after I worked all night. Now you
Oh
know
my
I was
gosh.
crazy.
I know the things we do when we're younger. Oh my God.
Mm.
But I mean, what do you can't just, tell everybody to, no, I can't see you for however long. Cause I mean, you want them to be there when you finish the film. So you're trying to keep everybody happy all at once.
Yes. And I think sometimes you don't, when you really enjoying yourself, it
Mm,
does not show up, I think, in your body as stress.
yeah.
You know, so it
Mhm.
didn't show up like that right away.
So how busy at that time was Baltimore? Like how often were you having productions come through?
Well, at that time, I think they had some incentives
Right.
that I didn't know about. So after Media Man, I was able to do. It was another film that came through. John Waters was here as well, producer,
Okay.
director, writer.
Mhm.
John Waters, and he had all hairspray, all those crazy things. I didn't do that, but I worked on one with Kathleen Turner called it was Serial Mom,
Nice.
and it was done here. So I did that one, and then from there, I think I done a Homicide: Life on the Street, and and all these things were shot here in Baltimore. So it was like a series of films in a row, all back to back.
Mm,
But it was a lot that was being done here at that time, and the proximity in which I lived to Washington D.C.
yeah.
There are many films who come in from other parts of the country or other parts of the world who wants to get the Washington D.C. landscape.
Right. Do
So
some location stuff of
exactly. So
yeah.
then I would work a lot on the things that came into Washington as well.
Nice.
So it was, so we, between the incentives in Maryland and Baltimore, and then what came in from Canada or other places to shoot in Washington,
Yeah.
I could say, I had a pretty healthy, like unit photography,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of work.
That's awesome. And at this point, are you in some type of union or
Oh yes, I was in the union
yeah?
by that time
Oh,
because
nice.
the thing is, after like a lot of the independent films, and it's the way I found out about the union,
Mm,
and I was inquiring about the union, which is really crazy because I was inquiring about the union and the studio mechanics
yeah.
union, which I didn't know the difference. They
Yeah.
just said local number. I didn't know it
Right.
was just for studio mechanics.
Yeah.
So I was inquiring about joining the union. They told me, oh, well, you can join this union. Yeah. And so I joined, but they don't negotiate for makeup and hair at all.
Right.
And so I didn't know that though at the time. And
And they
when
didn't think to tell you.
and I mean, I paid years, like, at least 3 years of
Yeah.
dues
Yeah.
into this union before I found out that they don't negotiate for makeup and hair. And
Right.
so then I contacted, when I found out that there was a makeup artist and hairstylist union,
Mm,
I contacted that local in New York, 798. And I explained to the business agent, that
how the mechanics have been taking you for
yeah, they're taking my dues, but they
yeah.
can't negotiate any contract for me
Yeah.
and so the business agent in New York contacted the national, and then they sorted it out so that I could go in. This was a long way around, but I could get into the union because I'd already paid so much money into it.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
That's good of them.
Yes.
And so at this point, are you running the department most of the time? Or are you working under
Well,
makeup artists or
I came in. I came in the first film, Meteor Man. I came in as the third.
okay.
The crew came from LA. The key in the department had.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other films in Baltimore, I came in as the key. The other projects, like in DC, I may just come in as a day player, or sometime I was chosen as at that time, they used to call the department heads keys,
Yeah.
years and years ago. I
Yeah.
would be the Baltimore key or the 798 key if there was another union from another area,
Got it.
that was coming in. So I would be I guess the equal to that position. I think when I really jumped to department heading, I came in to I was in my studio one day and I got a call from a costumer. And I think she was maybe the wardrobe supervisor on this film. And she said, "Are you working now?" And I said, "I'm in my studio." She said, "I'm on a film and the makeup department head is looking for a key and he needs one right away." So this film had just come in. It was a big football movie called The Replacements.
Mm-hmm.
And the department had just come down from New York, but for whatever reason, the producers did not want to work with his key. Maybe for some historical reason, I don't know. But
Right.
he called me in and she said, "Can you come down for an interview to see him?" I said, "Yes." So I came down that day, I, closed up my studio, went down to meet him. And he just said to me, he said, "Would you like to work?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm glad to have you." So I started working with him, but I was working as his key.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a big movie with units, football units, and it was second unit here, football unit there, sort of thing. This department head had just finished a movie in New York, and he had been there for a while. He was from LA,
Yeah.
and he had had some sort of tragedy in his family. And you know how when a person longed to be home, but
Yeah.
they have to do this. And I could
Yeah.
tell he was a beautiful, wonderful human being. And I just said, I just need to make sure nothing falls through the crack. Yeah, this is what I told myself. I need to make
Yeah.
sure that I have to check and double check because I know that he, because I'm a family person. I say, I
Yeah.
know that he wants to be home. Anyway, so we did the movie and I just watched his back throughout the whole time. And he was such a wonderful department head, just kind and funny and all this stuff. But anyway, at the end of the film, Jamie, he said to me, he said, "I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you." He said, "I would not have been able to do this film without you. I want you to know that." And he said, "And I talked to the producers, so I asked them to give you the department head title." And I said, "No, no, no. No." I said, "No, I just wanted to make sure everything went well for our department." He said, "It's already done." He said, "I'm taking the personal," because Keanu Reeves was in the film. He said, "I'm Keanu Reeves' personal, and you are the department head."
Oh, wow.
That's crazy, you know? And
Yeah.
and this is what I'm saying. Sometimes, you working with people and they so busy chasing titles. I just say, just do the great work because every job, and this is how I see it, every job you do is an interview for your next job.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They just want to be the boss.
Yeah.
I can department head and I can do background.
Yeah.
I said, when I do background, when my colleagues ask me to come and do background for their film, I come with my department head eyes and they know I'm going to watch it like it's my own and care for it as if it's my own.
Yeah.
So it's the same. The money is green. Just
Yeah.
do the good work.
Yeah. It's nice to hear you say all of that and it's good advice because I have seen some crazy behavior in crowd rooms where I'm
Yes,
just like, what are you doing?
exactly.
Like, we are working as a team right now. We should all have each other's backs. And you are not sharing information that you've been given. You're not,
Mm-mm.
you're not trying to help your fellow artist out at all. And it's just like, not that this should be the first thing that you think of. I mean, the first thing you should think of is just being a nice human being. But I mean, just to have, if you can't handle that, maybe think of it like the person working next to you could be the one that's hiring you next time. Like,
Yes.
you don't just assume that they are in some way should be beneath you or yeah, it's just such odd behavior to me. It's just
It
like,
is
firstly,
so.
just you're all human beings, so just be wonderful to each other. And secondly, anyone in that room could be your next boss,
Let
and they
me
probably won't be if you start treating them in a certain way.
let me tell you, I had a situation, and this is what I try to tell people all the time. See, I lead with love. I
Mhm.
lead with love. I lead with empathy. I
Yeah,
lead with compassion and kindness. That's the
yeah,
way I run. I don't mind being a personal, but I like the department head because I like to set the tone for where I'm
yeah,
working, you know, because I don't do chaos. I can't.
yeah,
And I don't do mean and I don't do nasty. We have to be there a long time. And
yeah.
I want everyone to have the best day and to create an environment where everyone can do their best work.
Mm,
I had a situation. I was doing a film, not a film, it was a limited series. And I had it was Watchmen. So we had all these alternate universes, you know,
yeah.
in Watchmen. And I had this big scene where we are in Vietnam. And I had I brought people in from everywhere. Other
Mhm,
department heads who were there helping me,
mhm.
as well, because, I know I'm going to have the right eyes on it.
Yeah.
And so I had my friend who was down, and she was the next department. She was going, her next project, she was going to department head an HBO series called Lovecraft Country. And
Mhm.
she was there working in background. And I remember after getting the cast out, and I came over, with my key, and I said to her, I said, "How's it going over here?" She said, "It's been great." She said, "But I don't know about this person that's working next to me." She said, "I've done
Mhm.
6 people and he hasn't done one." You
Oh.
you she said he's just been floating around, eating
Mm,
and chatting and stuff like that. He had
mhm,
no idea that she
mm,
was the department head of the next thing that was coming in.
mm,
You understand? So people, they don't they don't get it. They will call you up and say,
mm.
"Hey, I would love to come and work with you, but I would like to be in the trailer." What are you talking about? you know?
That's a lovely request.
Yes.
Um, let's chat about it.
Are you kidding me? And so
Yeah.
she didn't hire him at all because
No.
I had found my best people in background, Jamie.
Mm,
My best people. If they care about that and work hard back there, then I know they're gonna work hard in the trailer.
oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they
You
just get
you
it
see
all
the
twisted.
hustle. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. It's
It's,
funny. You just got to wonder what's going through people's minds sometimes.
I don't. They are sometimes so self-serving and trying to climb. My thing is, I want to do the best job because
Mm,
I've been given the opportunity.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
It's so unbelievable. And do you know, when I was doing Watchmen, my friend called me
Mm-hmm,
to do Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
mm-hmm,
And she said, "Listen, you know, she said, I know that you're just finishing a huge project, but would
mm,
you come to run background for us, for Ma Rainey?" And I
yeah.
said, "Absolutely." So I'm going there. I'm probably number 4,
Mm-hmm,
but she knew that I want to make sure that every background person that comes out there to be filmed, they're going to be
yeah,
right. And
yeah.
do you know, I won a Makeup Guild award doing background on
Mm,
Ma Rainey. You
yeah.
see what I'm saying? I don't chase awards. I
Mm,
just say do the good work.
yeah.
Rewards come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a smart woman, making sure that that background is taken care of by someone with such experience like
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
And because it is so important in a period film to have those eyes. So she's very lucky.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So while everybody is running around trying to be the boss,
Mm,
I'm saying do your best work and be happy. I don't care if I'm number 12. If you
yeah.
call and ask me and I say I'm going to do it, it's going to be done.
Yeah.
You know.
And just being able to walk away from a project knowing that you put your best foot forward and created the best that you could, and then you get to go and watch that and see it
Oh,
on the screen, and you're just like, yes, and you can be proud.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It was absolutely beautiful. And that's what I try to impart to young people coming up in the industry. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, hone your craft, come with the best attitude, come with the best personality. Want to be a part of the team. I said, because this is what's going to elevate you. I will hire someone with less skill, but a very beautiful personality and a wonderful attitude because I can teach you skill. I cannot teach attitude and personality.
Yeah.
I've seen people who are really great at their job, but they come in and they rot the whole production with their attitude and their personality.
Yeah. There's some things you can't help people with. And I've said that it's even so simple as being on time. Like I had a stylist who was considerably late multiple times and I was just like, listen, I can't help you with this. Like you have to sort this out. This is on you. It's just like if you were a terrible hairstylist and late, then
Yeah.
it's just like, but you're a fantastic hairstylist and a wonderful person. And I was like, I can't help you with this late stuff. Like,
Right.
I can't be there waking you up in the morning. Like, this is simple. You can work this out. And she did. She came to the party and sorted it out. But it was just like, as a leader, I'm just like, I can't. I want to be able to help you with this, but I actually can't. Like, this is up to you. This part,
Right. But I take my hat off to you because you're giving her opportunity. That's what I like to do. I would rather say this is not going to work. I want to work it out with you, but I'm just letting you know, you're going to have to do something about this, rather than just cut them off and never say anything to them about their problem, and on to the next. Because some people won't. They would just not call you again.
right?
But I'd rather point it out, correct it if you can, and then move on from there.
Yeah. I guess I just saw it as such a simple problem to fix, but I couldn't do it for them. So it was just like, this is simple. You just have to get up and get here like that.
Right.
That everyone else is doing it. You've got to be able to do it. It's set yourself 20 alarms. I don't care what's going
Right,
on.
exactly.
Just you can do it. I know you can do it. So now, I want to chat about some of the projects that you've done, like a couple of favorites, like your absolute faves, and why they kind of stand out to you as your favorites.
Oh my God, I do have a lot of them. And when I say,
I know it's tricky. They're like all your children, and you're like, how do I choose?
Right.
And they're always your favorite for different reasons. It's either the actual makeup that you were doing, or it was the experience that you had, or the location, or so yeah.
So there are, again, there are a few. I did enjoy, and I'm talking about the ones that I department headed, basically. But I'm gonna still talk about the ones that I didn't department head that I really loved too. So I did enjoy Watchmen because of all the alternate universes, and just, so to me, it's just having, period and fantasy and all in the same project was wonderful. One of my all-time favorites is The Wire for HBO. It was 20 plus years ago. We just had the 20th anniversary, but it was gritty. It was, and I like.
It's a fan favorite. I mean, people love that show and go back to it and back to it and back to it. So it's definitely, people love it.
And during that time, my key, Sandra Lynn, she and I, we were it. We were the makeup and the special effects. And I mean, and and we didn't have any formal training. All of that on that show. And we had to have it so authentic because David Simon was a reporter and Ed Burns, the other producer, was a homicide detective. So we knew, they knew what it looked like.
Yeah.
And we had a medical examiner consultant on the set.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yes. So Sandy found this clinical pathology book where it had all these dead people in it. Their faces are blacked out. But it depressed me. to look in this book to find
Yeah, it's rough.
you know,
You can't help but think that they were actual people.
they're
Yeah.
actual people, you know, and
Yeah.
it was, I mean, from adults, children, baby, I couldn't. And it just
Mm,
bothered me so much to thumb through that book. But if
yeah.
I need to know what piculation looked like, I could look it up and see what piculation looked like.
Mhm.
So what I decided to do is I started to, when I read because on every episode somebody was dying. When I
Mm,
read the episode, how they died or what the conditions were and around the death, I would call the medical examiner, consultant. And
yeah.
I said, if I have to have, I said, I have a person that's dead. They've been
Mm,
floating in the Baltimore harbor
mhm.
for over a month. I said, and it's February. How would the
Yeah.
body look? And how he would describe it to me, I would
Mm,
write the description down and then
okay.
convert it to makeup.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, and that way, and then when he would come on set, I would say, does this look like it? You know, that sort of thing. And he was like, yeah, this is great, or whatever. I can convert his description to makeup without having to just look at dead people for hours.
Yeah, I do. Every now and again, when I'm working on something, and the makeup artist will say, like, "Oh man, if anyone like checked my search, history, they'd be like, what is this person looking up?"
Right, right.
But it's just like, well, I mean, Google's there, and you just use it as a for your search, to
Hmm.
search imagery. But yeah, it's heavy. It's a lot. So you're lucky to have that person to go to
Yes.
give you that information. Oh
Right.
my
And we
goodness.
were. And, then I had a director who came in for an episode and he was like, Debbie, he
Mm,
said, we're going to kill somebody on this one. He said he's going to get beat to death. And I'm
mm,
going to need you to have a puppet made. He said, because the beating is going to be so vicious that
mm.
I can't do it on a stunt man, is what he said to
Yeah.
me. I was like,
Ooh.
okay. So when he described it to me, he explained that he was going to have it done with starting with the actor to the
Mm,
stunt person and then ending up on the puppet.
yeah.
So I called Matthew Mungo
Mm,
and at WM Creations, and I told him how I wanted the puppet's mouth to be contorted and all that,
mm,
and I arranged for the cast to go to be casted,
yeah.
have a head cast done, and with this expression and stuff. And when I tell you, every hair was punched, every pore, every mole, everything was in place. When I opened that wooden crate for David Simon, the executive producer and creator, to see this puppet that I had created, this actor, I had never seen a smile so big on his face. And they sent a puppeteer with them to operate it so that he could do the jerk movements and stuff as he got kicked and beat.
Oh wow.
And then one of the other producers came to me and she said, Debbie, she said, the editors told me they got sick when they were watching the episode. So I
Mm,
just took that as a compliment.
yeah. It's like, okay, everything's looking real and
Right.
believable.
So,
Job done.
yeah, so with The Wire, of course, I said Watchmen, fantasy stuff, I did the Wiz Live on NBC, which was beautiful because I just love the colors and stuff. And one of the hardest ones, but I still enjoyed it so much, was
Yeah.
Underground. And it was 2 seasons for Sony. And it was one of the hardest shows because we shot it during the summer in Louisiana. And it's
Oof.
period.
Mhm.
It's pre-Civil War. So all the costumes with the women with the petticoats underneath
Oh,
and
yeah.
and then them, dragging through with the bugs, the snakes, the everything,
Mhm.
trying to keep the cast comfortable.
Yeah.
It was
Meanwhile, your environment's trying to kill you all.
right, exactly. And the actual content because it's slavery and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It was just difficult, but it was a very hard show. But I felt like we did such good work. I love, like I said, the dirt and the mud and the blood and the scars. I love all of that, you know.
Yeah. It's nice to hear that you've gone from glamming up your work colleagues down into the loving the dirt and blood of it as well.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If only they could see you now. You're like hands covered in fake blood, dirt, and sweat.
Yes.
And they're like, hang on a minute.
You know, and I tell you, and I'm very sensitive to that because
Yeah.
I hate when I see somebody on a television show wake up with a full face of makeup. Like that's how they slept all night. I like the authenticity, you know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Mayor of Easttown too. You know, I enjoyed that
Yeah.
because I just felt like that was just a very regional look, you know,
Yeah.
for that show.
And just being able to watch these very real stories play out in front of you as well is pretty special to be on set for some certain things. I
Yes.
think to actually kind of be in the room to witness it happening is pretty cool.
Yes, for sure.
Now, I think a lot of people just think that you're just doing makeup. But I mean, you have a canvas that you're working on, which is somebody's face and their skin.
Mhm.
So doing your esthetician training, does that help you now being able to make sure that your cast skin is being looked after
Oh
through
my
these
God.
long shoots?
It is the number one thing for me. Skin
Yeah.
treatment. I've told producers in the beginning of a show, listen, I'm an esthetician. I'm going to spend a lot of money in skin treatment because it will keep our cast out of the dermatologist's office.
Yeah.
You know, I said, I'm very, very, you know, pointed about making sure they have the best skincare, that their skin is cleansed well, they have best products. And when I say the best products, for their specific needs, you know, because sometimes you may have a teenager who's having breakouts, you know, or a veteran older actress who wants to look younger. You know, they're all different things, but the most important thing is skincare is paramount because if the skin don't look good, the makeup ain't gonna look good. And it's just so I am very, and I am so grateful that I have the esthetician background because I do, and and I can recognize, certain things before they get out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you approach it? Like when you have a cast member come in, have you already spoken to them before you meet them to kind of find out their skin routines?
I do.
Or
I like to call
Yeah.
everybody ahead of time just to introduce myself. I always introduce myself. And, as the department head, and I just let them know, I want to know if they have any specific issues that they're concerned
Yeah.
about before they come. And if you have any preference for products so that I can have everything that you need when you arrive. And I also let them know, like if they have, let me know if you have any sensitivities or allergies and things of that nature. And at the end of the conversation, I always say to them, I said, I just want you to know I don't have thin skin. So if there's anything that I do or anyone on my team does, please let us know right away. I said, because what I don't want is for you to be out there trying to work and thinking about your makeup and hair. I said, so let me know, I don't have thin skin. It doesn't bother me to tell. If you need to correct, oh, no, I don't like this. If you need to correct me, correct me. And they said, oh, my God, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Because I have seen makeup and hair people act like they're the stars.
Yeah.
I don't know if you witnessed that or not. Like, you just read those lines and I'll take care of this. That kind of, I don't agree with that kind of attitude at all.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I worked with an actress and I would, always want to make sure you're happy, feeling good. Like this is what you were thinking kind of thing. And she would never answer me. She'd just go, are you happy? I'd be like, yeah, I'm happy, but I'm trying to make sure that you're happy. And she's like, yeah, I'm happy. I just want to make sure that you're happy. And I kind of go back and forth. It's just like, okay, I think we're both happy. Let's
Right.
But it was just, she'd just throw it back at me straight away. And it was just like, no, I really need to make sure that you're cool with this before you leave the trailer. Like, it was very sweet of her to be like, yeah, as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
Because she trusts you. Because if they don't, they're going to be watching the whole time intently.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I know we're always learning. So, and I think we're a group of people normally who love to learn new things. So, how do you continue your education? Is that something you kind of encourage your team to do as well?
Yeah, well, of course, I always like, introduction to new products and things like that. But I still get publications like Dermoscope or Les Nouvelles Esthétiques. I still get publications.
Okay.
Makeup Artist magazine.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed. And I buy books all the time, trying to learn something new.
Yeah.
Sometimes you learn things on the job. I'm of the mindset, teach people what you know. Let us all teach each other.
Mm-hmm.
It makes our unit stronger.
Yeah.
There's some people who don't.
Yeah.
And when I have had someone come and work with me and they say, I've never had somebody show me this. Oh, it blows my mind. They said they will turn their back so you cannot see what they're doing. I said, you have got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know. It's such a strange mindset. I don't understand it at all.
And I just,
So bizarre to
and then
me.
when I find veteran
don't know.
people acting like that, I'm like, what is wrong with, it's like, it's an insecurity is what it is. I don't mind somebody knowing something that I don't know. That means that I learned something. I don't mind a young person coming in with shine and talent. I want them to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Especially if they're on your team. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Yes, please come
Everybody,
join.
this is what I tell people all the time. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. So, so when I
Mhm.
put together a team, and I work a lot with some of the same people over the years based on their availability. I said,
Mhm.
but this
Yeah.
person may be strong in this area and weak in another area that you're strong. And what we do, it
Yeah.
fortifies all of us to strengthen the entire team rather than, pointing out what somebody else's weakness is when you have weaknesses your own self.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's like you don't know
Mm-mm.
everything. You're not amazing at everything.
And I just don't like that kind of attitude. And I just feel like when you come from a place of caring and sharing and making sure if somebody drops that ball, somebody else is right there to grab and pick it up and keep running.
Yeah. It's the best thing for the project that you're on. Just whatever is, whatever works best for the project, your team.
Yeah.
Just, making
Exactly.
doing the best work that you can. It doesn't matter who does what or when or where, or it's just like if it's the best thing to do, then yeah.
But I have seen veterans who want new people to come in and bow down to them. I don't understand that. I mean, just bow down. Like they want to talk to you about my mentor was this one or that one, and okay, that's nice. They want the young person to feel like they're beholding to them. And I don't agree with that at all because, I have 2 grown sons and I believe we all can learn something new every day if we're open. If you know everything, you can't learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. And they're angry sometimes, when a young person comes in and is talented. I don't understand it.
Yeah, you see a bit of venom come out and you're like, what is wrong? Go here.
Yeah, I
What's wrong with this
can't
picture right
do
now?
that. I just can't have it in my trailer,
That's good. Good to hear. I like it. So when you're working with your teams and you go on to other projects and help out, is there any particular, I guess, techniques or skills that you'd like to see makeup artists develop more that you feel may be an area that's lacking?
Yeah, kindness.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I mean, what I say about, and I can say this over and over again, makeup and hair team. Okay. I have friends, I guess, from way back before The Wire.
Yeah.
When I first started out. We always worked together, like in joy.
Yeah.
Joy, laughter, doing the best job. And our department was always a magnet for the other departments.
Mm-hmm.
They always knew if they were having a tough day, we can come to makeup and hair, and they'll make us feel better.
Yeah.
We welcome kindness, empathy, compassion, generosity, sharing, caring. That's, to me, when you have empathy, you are connected to humanity.
Yeah.
This is our connection, because I can feel what you're feeling, and I'm going to consider that instead of weaponizing what might be going on in someone's life against them.
Yeah.
So when you provide a space, a sacred space, is what some of my cast members say. I want to provide a space where everyone can do their best work and excel.
Yeah.
And that's the cast who's walking in the door, and my team that's there.
Yeah.
I'm not micromanaging because I've already hired experts.
Yeah.
So I don't need to stand over top of you or pull your work out or berate you in front of other people.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff. I detest it. I've seen people pull somebody's hairstyle down in front of everybody. It's one thing if you got to correct something right before it goes on camera.
Yeah.
You say, let's do this together, and you're helping the person.
Yeah.
But you're not trying to make them look bad in front of everybody else. I don't believe in that. I have seen people struggling in a trailer who might not know what the next product to use or the color or what they were using didn't work. And I could just go by and slide something over there real easy to them.
Yeah.
To solve it without saying a word.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, thanks.
Right. Or come later and say thank you.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the cast member who's sitting in the chair think they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they do notice, it's probably seen more as teamwork than anything else.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
But again, I just think people knowing how to treat each other or treating someone the way they want to be treated, to me, solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm the same with everybody. And when I say that, whether I'm the department head or whether I'm going to work under somebody else, if I see some behavior, I remember a film came into D.C. They had, the department head was there. But on that film, they had like 2 or 3 personals because you had a Russell Crowe and a Ben Affleck. They all had their people.
Yeah.
So I guess the department head was just that particular day, her person was like a day player who came in. And so we had maybe about 20 makeup artists and 20 makeup artists and hairstylists that they helping out.
Yeah.
Great big courtroom scene. And someone had touched up her day player that nobody knew. I knew him because he had just worked on The Wire.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew who he was. And I see this lady coming through and she's walking real fast and her arms are going back and forth. If another person touches my actor, I'm going to kill them, is what she said. I'm telling you, Jamie.
She should be in front of the camera. It's very dramatic.
Oh, my God. And I'm going to tell you, and my daughter-in-law is a makeup artist. She works with me sometimes. And we're doing background this day. And I said to her, as she walked by, I said, stop it. I said, stop it right now. Now I'm working for her, right? I'm on her show. I said, stop it. I said, stop that right now. I said, everybody's here to help you. You don't come in like that. She said, well, I'm not talking about you two. I said, I don't care who you're talking about. Everybody's here to help you.
Yeah.
She said, well, they need to. I said, they don't know who your person is.
Yeah.
It's not a major star.
Yeah.
I said, it's a courtroom scene. He's out in the audience with everybody else.
Yeah. And if you want them to know who your cast are, then you need to tell them, because
point it out.
Yeah.
And so when I said that to her, she said, well, they need to watch the monitor. I said, we have 20 people. You don't need 20 people standing at Video Village.
Yeah.
Watching the monitor. And this is before we had those little remotes,
Yeah.
And so anyway, and I mean, I just pulled her right up, and I just said, I'm sure she appreciated it. You just look silly doing that. I've had people touch my actor up. I'm not going to berate them in front of everybody. I will thank them. I said, thank you so much. I said, but I can, I have this one. So I appreciate you looking out,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going out there making my actor. What does it mean you're acting the possessive? My actor. What the ham and eggs are you speaking of?
Oh my gosh. I feel like some people get like that even like with the main, with their main team that are doing other
That's
actors.
crazy.
And they're just like, yeah. So I don't understand. It's pretty funny. Well, I thank you for standing up and saying something. That's
I'm just, I only way I know how to be, Jamie, is honest.
Yeah.
And I have common sense. And like I said, common courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I tell people all the time, some of these people get lofty, with how they do things,
Mm-hmm.
is remember your first day.
Yeah.
Just remember your first day. And if you remember your first day, maybe how awkward you were, how you didn't know everything,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, it will give you a little bit more grace
Yeah.
towards the people who are helping you out.
That's some good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just instead of just wanting to knock somebody down a notch. No, I don't agree with that behavior.
No, I honestly actually feel like that my first day on any set feels like my first day ever.
Yes, you do. Because
I'm like, there's the nerves, there's the I don't know what I'm doing. I'm always in the way. Like it doesn't matter, before you find your groove and find how things are going. It's like the first day of school, every job.
Yeah. I can remember a film that came to DC, and I think Michael Douglas was in this. And I remember I was out touching up somebody, I think, in the scene with him. And I set my set bag on the picture car.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get the touch-up done, right?
Of course.
And then the first AD, take your bag off of the picture car. So, I just remember that, feeling embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, how could I have done that? Kind of thing. But yeah, and we all make mistakes. We all have had a first day.
Totally.
Remember it.
Yeah.
And show grace.
Yeah.
Towards the people who are here to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. I still remember, I don't think I've never done it again, but I remember it was maybe about my third or fourth job. And in New Zealand, we do both makeup and hair.
Mm-hmm.
I was going in to do last looks, and my press powder compact, I put it down. We were shooting in a bar, and I put it down on the bar while I grabbed something else, like a lip touch-up or something, and I left the compact on the bar for that first take. And I remember seeing it on the monitor and being like, oh my God. Yeah. It's just like, holy hell, never. It's never happening again. Oh.
Right. Maybe not a Starbucks cup, but no, I'm just playing.
Luckily, it was just a little black compact, but it was still like I saw it and I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Of course, go in there, swipe it, let the script supervisor know. Luckily, it was the first take, and very rarely do they go with the first one. So,
yes.
But yeah, the things that you do, the mistakes that you make that you're just mortified about, and they definitely stick with you, I think, to learn for next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I had you set up at your station, Debbie, and you had all your bits and pieces, and I came in and I took something off you, a tool or a product, what would you not want to work without?
Well, I love that's on every set with me.
Mm-hmm.
Shiseido makes this red bottle
Mm-hmm.
of their Eutamine Revitalizing Essence.
Okay, what's that?
It's a hydrator, but I use it as a toner,
Okay.
like for most everyone. And when I tell you, it makes the skin look beautiful. Of course, I use serums and all this stuff, but I used to work back in the day when I was freelancing, I used to work for Shiseido.
Okay.
And Shiseido is one of the oldest cosmetic companies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we worked the store that I worked at was near a cosmetics and, toiletries manufacturer, Procter & Gamble.
Okay.
And I remember the chemist will come in and buy up all the Shiseido products. And I used to ask them, why you guys come in and just buy everything here? And they said Shiseido is so highly regarded in the world. You know, cosmetic companies always trying to emulate their products. So this red bottle is Eudermine, is EUDERMINE, revitalizing essence.
And is it a spray?
It's
or-
not a spray. It's a thick, beautiful glass bottle. Looks like a bottle of cologne or perfume because it's red. And it is I use it every day. I'm never running out of it. You know, yeah.
You're like, they stopped making it. Debbie's got a case of it in her basement.
I hope they never stop. But when I tell you, I just remember, you know how sometimes guys will come in and they just taking a shower and that's all they've done. They've not put not a stitch of moisturizer or a dab of anything on. And they come in. And I just remember my daughter-in-law, again, she was visiting me on a set. I was down in New Orleans or something. And she was like, what did you put on his face? She said, because when he came in here, he was so rusty and dusty. I thought he was working out somewhere, you know, like in construction. She said, but when he got up, she said his skin was just so smooth and so like butter, she said.
Yeah.
And it's this, that, and, you know, hyaluronic, of course, serums, and, you know, I like some of the peptide serums, and of course, vitamin C serum. It's one of my favorites, you know, because it gives a brightening, you know, glow to the skin.
Do you mix it in with things or do you just use it by itself?
I use the red bottle as a toner. And then I put the serums over top of it. Okay. And I can also, you know, you can also put in your hand and just pat it on later, you know. I love it. And then I think an Epicurean has an enzyme concentrate that I love too. Epicurean Discovery. It's the enzyme concentrate. You know, I love that one. What does that do? And that one, I find that especially when I'm, you know, working and, you know, with someone and they may like drink up stuff, like their skin drinks it up during the day, and you may have to go in and clean up under the eyes. I can tap a little bit of that serum on with a little bit hyaluronic acid and then put eye cream back over it, and it softens everything out. Oh, nice. And they also have, Epicurean has a Insta Lift serum that will kind of take down the puffiness, you know, and smooth the skin out. So I use those two. So the Insta Lift serum by Epicurean, their enzyme serum, and the protein gel that goes with it. And also my Shiseido red bottle. The red bottle is number one for me.
Yeah. So if I came in and ran away with your Shiseido, you'd be...
I would say, I said use it and I'll have it go right here in the cabinet.
You're like, I got more in the trunk of my car. It's fine.
Right. You know.
Oh, I love it. And Debbie, what one person would you like to hear on the podcast?
Oh my God, it's so many, you know, just like so many. The team that did well.
Yeah.
I thought that makeup was fantastic. Judy Chen and all those guys. I don't know if she's been on the podcast yet.
I spoke to, because I normally do a Oscars special, so I speak to all the nominees. But for the whale one, Judy wasn't on it. But I did speak to Adrian and the hairstylist Anne-Marie.
Okay.
So it's just so tricky trying to get everybody
at the same
scheduled
time.
At the same time.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's hard. So did you get everything everywhere, that team?
No, I haven't spoken to them.
I would like that too. I mean, it's so many talented artists out here. You know, I can't really think off the top of my head. I just think about some of the makeups and stuff and just, you know, just like to hear sometimes people's process and techniques.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think if my memory serves me correctly, which sometimes it really doesn't, but I have a funny feeling that when I spoke to Lawrence Davis.
Oh, Lawrence.
You were someone that he recommended that I speak to.
Oh my God. I love him so much. Yes,
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Do you know Shanika as well?
I know Shanika and also.
It might have been Shanika. It was
and
either
Carol,
Shanika or
Carol
Lawrence.
Rashid.
And yes, and Carol Rashid. Yeah. So one of them mentioned your name, and I'm finally got to speak to you. So I'm so happy about that. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it has been such a pleasure, and I hope our paths cross on a project.
Oh, I agree. That'd be amazing.
Thank you so much, Jamie. It was truly a pleasure.
Okay, Last Looks crew, thanks for listening. And remember, if you love it, share it. A quick scroll down and you'll find our show notes. Or maybe you'd like to give your support and leave a 5-star review. Go on, I know you want to. Search the Last Looks podcast on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, whichever one tickles your fancy. And a massive shout out to the husband, Brett Stanley. Without his patience and tech support, this whole podcast situation simply does not happen. And cheers to Liliana Rose for her fabulous voice acting talents. Okay, Last Looks crew, that's a wrap for me. I don't need to be told twice to get out of here, so bye. I'll catch you on the flip side.
That's a wrap, people.